Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive deep into the explosive twists awaiting us on Friday, August 22nd, where Drew Kane's cunning scheme crumbles spectacularly. Nina Reeves clamps down on Ava Jerum's loose lips, and Molly Lansing Davis corners Cody Bell with a probing question that's sure to stir up buried emotions. Buckle up, soap fans, because Port Charles is about to erupt with revenge plots, romantic sparks, and shocking revelations that could change everything. Let's kick things off with the mounting tension surrounding Drew Kane's aggressive moves. Stella Henry, ever the voice of reason in the family, will step in with a firm belief that Drew has finally come out on top in this messy feud. She'll gently but insistently push her nephew, Curtis Ashford, to swallow his pride and let it go, reminding him that holding onto grudges could poison their tight-knit circle. But Curtis, fueled by a burning sense of injustice, isn't one to back down so easily. Remember, Drew kicked off a ruthless investigation into Stella's old insurance fraud scandal, dredging up painful skeletons that Curtis thought were long buried. Now, with fire in his eyes, Curtis is plotting his ultimate comeback, perhaps enlisting some unexpected allies or uncovering dirt on Drew's own shady dealings. To turn the tables, this isn't just about family honor, it's a full-blown war that could ripple through the Ashford clan, forcing loyalties to be tested and secrets to spill in ways no one saw coming. Shifting gears to the courtroom drama, Martin Gray enters the fray with a tantalizing proposition for Drew. In a tense showdown, Martin lays it out plain. If Drew pulls the plug on that invasive probe into Stella's past, he'll gladly put pen to paper on a damning statement against Michael Corinthos. It's a deal that screams high-stakes bargaining, the kind that could make or break alliances in Port Charles. But Drew, caught in his own web of ambition, might find himself either too stubborn or too entangled to hit the brakes on the investigation. Imagine the frustration building as Drew realizes he's painted himself into a corner. New details suggest he might even consult a shady intermediary to try and salvage the situation, only to watch it backfire. Without Martin's crucial testimony, the assault charges against Michael evaporate like morning mist, handing a massive win to both Michael and his formidable father, Sonny Corinthos. This victory isn't just legal, it's a psychological blow that reinforces Sonny's iron grip on the town, perhaps inspiring him to expand his influence in bolder ways. Speaking of Sonny, ADA Justine Turner will pull him aside for a confidential chat, assuring him that everything is aligning perfectly as they monitor the fallout from Martin and Drew's failed negotiations. Justine's tone hints at a personal thrill in seeing Drew twist in the wind. Unable to dictate the outcome like he usually does, we could see her smirking as she describes how Drew's overconfidence has led to this humiliating defeat, maybe even sharing a subtle nod to past rivalries that make this moment all the sweeter. In the aftermath, Drew will be left seething, his grand plan to haul Michael off in handcuffs reduced to ashes. Picture him pacing furiously, vowing under his breath to regroup and strike harder next time, perhaps targeting Sonny directly, with a fresh scheme involving hidden evidence or anonymous tips that could reignite the chaos. Now, let's turn to the Quartermaine mansion, where Tracy Quartermaine delivers a no-nonsense ultimatum to her granddaughter, Brooklyn Quartermaine. Tracy insists that Brooklyn must show up for whatever crisis is unfolding, warning that skipping out would lead to lifelong regrets she'd never shake. This could tie into Maxie Jones' harrowing ordeal, with Tracy drawing from her own history of family emergencies to emphasize the importance of presence. Or perhaps it's linked to young Giovanni Joe Palmieri's latest troubles, like a school scandal or a budding romance gone awry that demands Brooklyn's intervention. Tracy's wisdom shines through as always, maybe even sharing a poignant anecdote from her past regrets to drive the point home, urging Brooklyn to prioritize bonds over convenience in a town where relationships are everything. Over on the lighter but no less intriguing side, Molly Lansing Davis approaches Cody Bell with a warm smile and a question that taps right into his rugged expertise. Speculation runs wild that it might involve cowboy lore for her latest novel project. Think details on ranch life, horse training secrets, or even Wild West-inspired plot twists she's weaving into her story. But Molly's cheerful demeanor quickly fades when she notices Cody's distraught expression, prompting her to dig deeper. Cody, still reeling from Maxie Jones' terrifying medical scare, will likely pour out his worries. Finding a sympathetic ear in Molly, this heart-to-heart could uncover layers of vulnerability in Cody, perhaps revealing how the crisis has forced him to confront his own fears of loss from his turbulent past. And here's where things get juicy. Building on Thursday's episode, Molly might have an epiphany, realizing that her efforts to bury any lingering feelings for Cody have failed miserably. New invented sparks could fly as she admits to herself and maybe hints to him that their connection runs deeper than friendship, setting the stage for a potential rekindled romance amid the hospital drama. Meanwhile, sparks of a different kind ignite when Rick Lansing reunites with Elizabeth Baldwin for a casual catch-up by the shimmering Metro Court pool. The scene promises sweet, nostalgic moments as they reminisce about old times, with Rick playfully asking, "What did I do for you?" in a nod to their shared history. Elizabeth, ever gracious, might shower him with compliments, highlighting how his support during tough times helped her rebuild her life, perhaps even crediting him for inspiring her nursing career or standing by her through family crises. This tender exchange doesn't go unnoticed. Ava Jerome could spot them from afar. Her curiosity piqued, leading her to eavesdrop or snap a discreet photo that fuels future gossip. Adding a fresh twist, maybe Elizabeth shares a lighthearted story about a recent patient mishap, drawing Rick into laughter and strengthening their bond in unexpected ways. But Ava's day takes a secretive turn as she stumbles upon some intriguing information. During Thursday's events, Nina Reeves, sensing trouble, will corner her and demand a solemn promise to keep whatever she's uncovered under wraps. We know Ava's already in the loop on Nina's wild theory about Willow Tate being Daisy Gilmore's mysterious stalker, so this new bombshell must be something entirely different. Perhaps it's intel on Willow's hidden family ties or a clandestine meeting that could expose vulnerabilities in the Corinthos empire. Alternatively, Nina might be shielding Ava from more drama with Rick, warning her that stirring the pot could drag them both into a legal quagmire. Inventing a new layer, imagine Ava piecing together clues from overheard conversations, like a cryptic email or a misplaced document that hints at corporate sabotage involving Deception Cosmetics informant Nina wants buried to protect her own interests. Finally, the emotional undercurrents deepen as Lulu Spencer and Liesl Obrick delve into their stormy, shared history, hashing out old grudges in a bid for reconciliation. This conversation could highlight pivotal moments, like Liesl's past manipulations or Lulu's fierce independence, but with a focus on the tentative progress they've made lately. Perhaps, through mutual concern for loved ones, they might even bond over invented details, such as a shared recipe from their European roots or a funny anecdote about Nina's antics, paving the way for a fragile truce. Wrapping up the episode's intensity, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that Maxie Jones' health crisis escalates, with even more gut-wrenching developments, including emerging evidence of possible poisoning that points fingers at a surprising suspect. Next, we will dive into the sizzling speculation swirling around Josslyn Jax, and whether her steamy escapade with Vaughn at the luxurious Five Poppies resort could lead to an earth-shattering pregnancy reveal that's got fans on the edge of their seats. Port Charles is no stranger to unexpected twists, and now whispers are growing louder among devoted viewers about Josslyn Jax potentially facing a life-altering surprise. Could this fiery young woman discover she's carrying Vaughn's child after their impulsive night of passion? The idea has sparked endless debates in fan forums, with many pointing to the intense chemistry that exploded during their resort getaway. Imagine Josslyn, already juggling high-stakes missions and personal heartaches, suddenly hit with morning sickness or a positive test that flips her world upside down, adding layers of drama to her budding WSB adventures. We've seen similar storylines rock characters like Carly or Sam in the past, but Josslyn's youth and independence could make this plotline uniquely gripping, forcing her to confront maturity in ways she never anticipated. Recapping that unforgettable encounter, it all started when Vaughn stepped in to offer Josslyn some much-needed solace amid her emotional turmoil. Picture the scene, steam rising in the shower as he wrapped her in a comforting hug that quickly escalated into a tender kiss, their soaked clothes hitting the floor as desire took over. From there, the pair tumbled onto the bed, lost in a whirlwind of ecstasy that felt like the perfect escape from Josslyn's mounting stresses. Inventing a fresh detail, perhaps Vaughn whispered sweet nothings about starting fresh, drawing Josslyn deeper into the moment with promises of no-strings fun. Yet, as the afterglow faded, an uncomfortable silence settled in, leaving them both grappling with the reality of what they'd done. The awkwardness was palpable, Josslyn avoiding eye contact, Vaughn fumbling for words, highlighting how one heated impulse can complicate everything in the blink of an eye. Fast forward to the present, and Josslyn and Vaughn are tiptoeing through the minefield of their professional dynamic, now forever altered by that intimate interlude. As colleagues in the shadowy world of the WSB, they must maintain focus on covert operations and team briefings, but stolen glances and unspoken tension threaten to undermine their missions, adding a creative spin. Maybe Josslyn finds herself second-guessing Vaughn's decisions during a simulated training exercise, her mind flashing back to their night together and blurring the lines between ally and lover. This navigation isn't easy. It's like dancing on a tightrope, where one wrong step could expose vulnerabilities or even jeopardize a critical assignment. Fans are theorizing that this unease might push Josslyn toward confiding in a trusted friend like Trina, seeking advice on how to redraw boundaries without igniting more sparks. In a revealing chat with Soap Opera Digest, actress Eden McCoy peeled back the layers on Josslyn's mindset. During that pivotal August 19th episode, she explained that Josslyn was desperately craving a human connection, a brief respite from the mental chaos that had been consuming her, perhaps triggered by lingering grief over lost loves or the pressures of her new spy life. It was all about escaping that dark headspace and feeling alive again, McCoy elaborated, hinting at Josslyn's impulsive nature. But neither character paused to ponder the fallout, diving headfirst without a safety net. To expand with an invented element, McCoy could have shared how Josslyn's vulnerability stemmed from a recent nightmare about her family scandals, making Vaughn's embrace feel like a lifeline in the storm. This lack of foresight opens the door to all sorts of repercussions, painting a vivid picture of youthful recklessness in the high-drama realm of Port Charles. One looming consequence that's got everyone buzzing: the possibility of Josslyn winding up pregnant with Vaughn's baby, a twist that would thrust her into uncharted territory. Given her hectic schedule diving into WSB fieldwork, think late-night stakeouts, adrenaline-fueled chases, and zero time for routine checkups, it's not hard to imagine her overlooking something as crucial as birth control consistency. Perhaps in the heat of the moment at the resort, with champagne flowing and inhibitions low, protection was the last thing on their minds. Inventing a new detail, Josslyn might later recall a fleeting worry about her pill pack left behind in her rush to the mission, amplifying the realism of this potential bombshell. Such a development wouldn't just be a personal crisis, it could echo through her relationships, straining ties with her mother Carly, or even drawing Vaughn into a reluctant co-parenting dilemma he's unprepared for. That said, McCoy dropped hints that Josslyn is in no rush to unpack the deeper implications of her rendezvous with Vaughn. She's opting for avoidance, pushing any serious talk about what this means to the back burner for as long as humanly possible. Josslyn's strategy is to bury her head in the sand and pretend it didn't shift anything major, McCoy noted, emphasizing her character's denial as a coping mechanism, adding a creative flourish. Perhaps Josslyn distracts herself by throwing energy into a new WSB gadget training session, inventing excuses to dodge alone time with Vaughn. This procrastination speaks volumes about her fear of vulnerability, especially after past heartbreaks. But it also sets up delicious tension for when reality inevitably crashes in. The phrasing in McCoy's interview is particularly intriguing, as she mentioned Josslyn avoiding the issue until it becomes necessary. What could make that conversation unavoidable? A pregnancy discovery fits the bill perfectly, forcing Josslyn and Vaughn to confront their night of passion head-on, discussing everything from paternity tests to future plans amid the chaos of espionage. Imagine the scene: Josslyn staring at a pregnancy test in a dimly lit bathroom, her hands shaking as she realizes this necessity has arrived sooner than expected. To invent an element, maybe a cryptic dream sequence foreshadows this, with Josslyn envisioning a baby that looks eerily like a mini Vaughn, jolting her awake in a cold sweat. It's the kind of plot device that soaps love, blending romance, regret, and revelation in one explosive package. Of course, there's no official word from the General Hospital writers on steering Josslyn's arc toward motherhood, but let's be real, it would inject a fascinating layer of complexity into her fresh WSB role. Picture her navigating dangerous assignments while dealing with prenatal appointments, or Vaughn stepping up in unexpected ways that deepen their bond. This complication could test her resilience, perhaps leading to alliances with unlikely mentors like Anna Devane for advice on balancing spy life with surprises. Even if pregnancy isn't in the cards, the mere possibility adds edge to Josslyn's journey, reminding us that in Port Charles, every choice ripples outward. Next, we will uncover the brewing storm threatening Carly Corinthos and WSB agent Jack Brennan's passionate romance, as hidden secrets and deadly betrayals loom large. potentially shattering their bond forever in the chaotic world of Port Charles. Things are heating up in the most delightful way for Carly Corinthos and the charismatic Jack Brennan, whose relationship has blossomed into a full-blown love affair over the past couple of years. From stolen glances during high-stakes encounters to tender moments under the stars, they've built a connection that feels unbreakable, with Carly finally finding a partner who matches her fiery spirit. But dark clouds are gathering on the horizon, promising turmoil that could rip this couple apart, inventing a fresh layer. Perhaps Carly has been confiding in Brennan about her dreams of a quieter life, away from the Corinthos family drama, unaware that his concealed truths are about to explode like a time bomb, testing whether their affection can withstand the fallout of deception and danger. At the heart of this impending catastrophe is a massive secret Brennan has been guarding from Carly. With ironclad secrecy, unbeknownst to her, he's pulled her own daughter, Josslyn Jax, into the shadowy ranks of the WSB, transforming the young woman from a college student into a novice operative. This recruitment happened under the radar, perhaps during a late-night briefing where Brennan saw potential in Josslyn's quick wit and determination, adding a creative twist. Maybe Brennan justified it to himself by recalling Josslyn's past brushes with peril, like her involvement in family feuds, believing he'd be mentoring her safely only for reality to prove far more treacherous. Carly's ignorance of this development adds a heartbreaking edge, as she chats obliviously about Josslyn's internship, while her daughter dives headfirst into espionage, compounding the risk. Josslyn is now neck-deep in a perilous assignment that could easily claim her life, thrusting her into uncharted waters she's woefully unequipped to navigate. Stationed at the opulent yet sinister Five Poppies Resort in Croatia, this mission involves infiltrating a web of international intrigue, complete with coded messages and high-tech gadgets she's only just learning to handle. As a fresh-faced spy, Josslyn's lack of experience shines through. Think fumbling with surveillance equipment, or second-guessing aliases during tense stakeouts to invent a new element. Perhaps she's been paired with a holographic training simulator that glitches at crucial moments, heightening her vulnerability and underscoring how this operation is a baptism by fire that might end in tragedy if help doesn't arrive soon. Making matters infinitely worse, Brennan's organization harbors a venomous traitor right in its core. Someone who's been undermining everything from the inside. That turncoat is none other than his seemingly loyal assistant, Colette Moreau, who's secretly aligned with hostile forces, feeding them intel and sabotaging missions with cold precision. Brennan remains blissfully unaware, trusting Colette with sensitive documents and strategy sessions, perhaps even sharing personal anecdotes about his life with Carly during coffee breaks. Expanding creatively, Colette's betrayal might stem from an invented backstory involving a long-lost sibling, caught in WSB crossfire years ago, fueling her vendetta and making her actions feel deeply personal rather than just opportunistic. It was Colette who orchestrated the devastating blow to Josslyn and her partner Vaughn's cover, exposing them to lethal threats in a heartbeat. This betrayal led to a heart-pounding confrontation where Josslyn, in a surge of adrenaline, had to take down an assassin mid-stranglehold on Vaughn, her hands shaking as she fired the shot that saved his life. The resort's elegant halls turned into a battlefield, with echoes of gunfire mixing with the distant crash of waves. Inventing an additional detail, perhaps Josslyn later discovers a hidden microchip planted by Colette in their gear, which transmitted their locations in real time, amplifying the sense of paranoia and forcing the duo to go off-grid with improvised disguises and burner phones. The perils facing Josslyn and Vaughn are only just beginning, as Colette's machinations suggest she's far from finished with her sinister agenda. Her motives for turning against Brennan and the WSB remain shrouded in mystery, but it's clear she's poised to escalate her scheme, perhaps by leaking more classified data or recruiting other insiders. In a probable next move, Colette could aim to divert Brennan's attention from the Croatian crisis entirely, using cunning distractions to buy time for her allies to close in. To add a new inventive angle, imagine her hacking into Brennan's personal calendar, planting false leads about unrelated threats to pull his focus away, all while smirking at how easily she's manipulating the man who once trusted her implicitly. This brings us to the chilling possibility that Carly Spencer herself is now squarely in the crosshairs of danger, becoming an unwitting pawn in Colette's game. With Carly and Brennan recently floating ideas for a romantic weekend getaway, maybe a secluded cabin in the woods or a yacht cruise along the coast, the setup provides the ideal window for Colette to launch an attack. Picture Carly packing her bags, excited for some alone time, oblivious to the shadow lurking nearby, creatively expanding. Colette might employ a network of hired goons disguised as resort staff, ready to strike with poisoned drinks or staged accidents, turning what should be a blissful escape into a nightmare of survival. Should Colette make her move against Carly, it would serve as the ultimate diversion, consuming Brennan's energy and preventing him from monitoring the unfolding disaster in Croatia. He'd be torn between rushing to Carly's side, perhaps coordinating emergency responses, or interrogating suspects and addressing the blown cover of his agents. This distraction buys Colette precious time, as Brennan's realization of her treachery would come swiftly once he connects the dots. From Josslyn's reports, inventing a detail. Maybe a frantic voicemail from Josslyn mentioning a suspicious assistant's name tips him off, but only after he's already knee-deep in protecting Carly, heightening the stakes with split-second decisions. Ultimately, Colette's endgame might not hinge on actually eliminating Carly. Her primary goal could be simply to keep Brennan occupied long enough for Josslyn and Vaughn's mission to implode completely. As long as he's preoccupied with the chaos at home, her allies abroad can finish the job, perhaps by ambushing the young spies in a dramatic resort showdown. Adding a fresh element, Colette could even send anonymous threats to Carly's phone, laced with insider knowledge about her past, to prolong the distraction and sow seeds of doubt in Brennan's mind about his own security protocols. As the tension builds, burning questions linger. Can Brennan and Carly's blossoming love weather the storm of his explosive secrets and the betrayal tearing through his world? Will Colette's ruthless plot include a direct attempt on Carly's life to throw Brennan off balance? And most crucially, can Brennan rally the resources to rescue Josslyn and Vaughn before it's too late, pulling them from the jaws of defeat in a race against time? ABC General Hospital spoilers hint at more heart-stopping developments ahead, so stick with us for every pulse-pounding update from the streets of Port Charles.